Now, the Indian cricket team looks dangerous, unstoppable, and the confidence at a home World Cup is sky high. They beat Netherlands in Bengaluru rather convincingly and unsurprisingly to keep their unbeaten streak intact heading into what is the most crucial phase of the tournament. The semi-finals are upon us, so it's only fair after the last league match that India played to look at what are the 10 takeaways from their campaign so far, the 10 highlights, and this is in no particular order. So let's begin with number 1. Rohit Sharma leading from the front. Now, he's been an excellent leader, enjoying the pressure of playing at a World Cup at home. He's making the right bowling changes and his strategies are paying off too. He has an easy demeanour as captain and that seems to be working with this bunch. There's a sense of the collective greater good to be scored and that single-minded focus, so nothing on the sidelines is coming in the way of the team looking in sync, and a lot of that credit goes to Rohit. He's also setting the right example at the top with his batting, playing selfless attacking innings to set the tempo and take the pressure off those who follow him, whose main roles are well defined. He has scored 500 plus runs in consecutive World Cups now, equaling Sachin's record set way back in 1996 and 2003 World Cups. Number 2, Virat King Kohli playing like one. Now, we've seen the lows of Virat and the highs, both equally dramatic. While leading the side, somehow you saw the strain of it all. All of that seems like a distant memory at this point. Virat Kohli has looked ominous, and with 49 centuries to his name in ODIs, he's looking in the perfect possible shape with the bat. The odd low scores are not a bother because he looks like he's surely enjoying himself out there, even taking that extra pleasure in rolling his arm over like we saw the previous evening. They say the health of your batting is almost always reflective of the health of the best batter in your lineup, and this Indian batting lineup is surely in the pink of its health. If we speak about Virat Kohli's ODI World Cups, that he's featured in from 2011 onwards, that's his average in 2011, around 35. And his average in each of those editions, starting with that 35, just keeps increasing. That's 50 he's averaging in 2015. And if you look at the next edition in 2019, he was averaging 55.37. They reached the semi-final there, losing to New Zealand. And now in this World Cup, his average is 99. That's quite a revelation. How he has just kept increasing his performances. Moving on to the next point then. And that tells a story. Bumrah leading the bowling attack. Would you even think that this man was out of competitive cricket, out of international cricket with a career-threatening back injury that kept him away for more than a year? That's how Bumrah is bowling. He may not be the top wicket taker, but he has been instrumental in striking fear and hesitation in batters all through, then opening the doors for his colleagues to fire in and get those wickets. He's leading one of the best attacks for India in World Cups. At the start of the World Cup, we spoke about Bumrah being critical and how the way he comes back would set the tone for the side. Now, he well and truly has done that. He's being absolutely accurate and the line and length has been diligent, even on the flattest of tracks here at the World Cup. The Indian bowling unit somehow looks different when Bumrah is part of it. Moving on to the next point, and that is turning the setback to a strength. Now, Hardik Pandya's injury created a bit of a worry line across the Indian think tank. They were keen on his inclusion in the 11 to add that extra dimension of batting and very useful bowling. But his injury just completely put them on the back foot, forcing them to make 2 changes and get in Mohammad Shami and Surya Kumar Yadav. And boy, how that paid off. The Indian team was looking good, but after Shami's inclusion in particular, the Indian side has looked menacing. They didn't wallow or try to get bogged down by their plans going awry mid-tournament. And even from Shami's point of view, here was a key bowling asset who was warming the bench, and he came in and hit the ground running with a stunning fifer against the Kiwis, who they are facing next up. Shami has been one of the top performers with the ball and a standout exponent of the art of swing bowling in these conditions. He has been clinical and absolutely difficult to face in most venues. And the way India tapped into an unfortunate episode to turn it around into one that has worked wonders just puts them another step up above the other contenders. Moving on to number 5, giving Siraj the long rope. Now, Mohammad Siraj is a very emotional and passionate person. We know the kind of tough years he had growing up, losing his father in the middle of a series during the pandemic, and how Siraj turned that into giving him strength He has always pushed himself to perform. The World Cup did not start the way it should have for him. He was not consistent and his initial performances weren't reaping in the rewards. He was not all too successful or diligent in his spells, but the Indian team persisted with him without trying to put in someone else, like they did with Shardul too, till the Hardik Pandya injury, of course. And that paid off. Shamsi's inclusion, in fact, too, probably rubbed off on Siraj and helped him just bowl that much better. Then a few matches, like the one against Sri Lanka, saw Siraj just get back into the rhythm. It just took some additional patience on the part of the management and his very own perseverance to yield results. That again, a hallmark of a true champion side. Number 6 then, India's spin unit. Now there was a lot of talk of the spinners setting the pace for India at the World Cup. And though the pacers have hogged all the limelight, the spin duo of Ravindra Jadeja and Kuldeep Yadav have done their job rather commendably. Jadeja has proved to be dynamic with both bat and ball. He has choked the opposition in the middle overs, and Kuldeep seems to have matured in this tournament. Even when he has been hit, he has found a way to come back and dig deeper. The two have created the perfect pressure in the middle overs that has aided in the pacers carrying it forward and closing it out at the death. In fact, this is one key aspect that India has triumphed over most teams. They boast of one of the best spin units in the entire tournament. That takes me to number 7, Shreyas Iyer, the number 4 fix. Now, it's a position that has plagued Indian cricket at many World Cups. Who will bat at number 4? And there was additional concern with Shreyas Iyer coming back after an injury. The fact that he even played a match on comeback at the Asia Cup and then sat out some more games definitely wasn't something the Indian team was all too kicked about heading into the World Cup. But Shreyas turned that around and has shouldered the responsibility of shepherding the middle order rather smoothly. He has stuck to his role admirably, and that has reflected in his numbers. Moving to another comeback man as well then. And that's number 8, KL Rahul, filling Rishabh Pant's shoes. Now, when Rishabh Pant's accident happened, the Indian team management's hopes sank. Rishabh is one of those key components of the Indian ranks. He is an explosive batter who gives that much needed impetus at the bottom half, and one of the best wicket keepers. His constant chirping behind the stumps is an added bonus. Now, KL Rahul is not in the similar mold as a Rishabh Pant, but somehow they have made it work. They have defined what his role as number 5 would be, and he has absolutely nailed that. But what has impressed many is his agility, his alertness, and the speed that he has had behind the wicket. His safe hands have shown through the tournament time and again, winning the Best Fielder award that the dressing room has been doing every match. Which brings me to the next point, which is camaraderie in the dressing room. Now, this has really captured everyone's eyes and quite apparent to see too. The camaraderie and energy in the Indian dressing room. We all know that a campaign can make or break itself just with the vibes that the dressing room shares. A good, happy dressing room is often replicated by good, positive performances on the field. And this Best Fielder initiative has also played its part in not just motivating players to be the best, but also share some laughs and smiles that will go a long way in team bonding. There is that ease in the dressing room. There is no visible hierarchy or a senior-junior divide, and it is all clearly stemming from the very top, which has made its way to all across the team. It's infectious, and the performance are also a result of that brotherhood. Moving on to the 10th point, and this is what we thought would actually break this side or probably put them into that added pressure, the fact that they're playing at a World Cup, which is at home. And it's possibly the most important point. Indian cricket team playing a World Cup at home is a different monster. It's not easy being an Indian cricketer when the weight of billions of people is squarely on the shoulders of the men in blue. But somehow they have turned this around to make it work for them. They have somehow managed to take the pressure aspect out of the equation entirely. They're enjoying every game, every moment. Now, as KL Rahul also said in one of the press conferences, there is that definite plan to be attacking and focusing on every game one day at a time, and not think about the World Cup as one that has pressure tied to it. Whatever the process, it is surely working. And the fans too have assisted in turning this pressure into home advantage. The stadiums are a sea of blue, and the home support at every venue is staggering. With the semi-finals just moments away and age-old rivals coming up to around the corner in the semi-final, which is India versus New Zealand. Maybe it will be good for the Indian contingent to look back at this journey and remind themselves of these 10 things that they have got right as a team that has made them the most dangerous one in this World Cup. It's the dream of every cricketer, the ultimate glory. Few manage to keep their date with destiny, but for many, it's been heartbreaks and a cross to bear. The Holy Grail is here in India. I'm Rupha Ramani, and Firstpost brings you the ringside view. We bring you the Cup of Dreams, Cricket World Cup coverage like never before.